Yo, what is up, guys? King of Wonderworld back at you with another part of, well, what if Deku was Killua Zoldyck, part 5. Ah, finally getting back into the, well, back sort of into the schedule. Things been a bit misplaced, but however, I'm gonna try and work around it. Yeah, yeah, I hope everything's going alright for everybody. Hope everybody's had a good week so far, and hopefully everybody does have a good weekend. I'm just trying to get through just trying to get through working my way. But I realize I'm babbling on right now. I don't even know what I'm trying to say. But I will link it. Well, credits being given in the description, so you can go check out the artist that made this song, because I like putting the music down there. But anyway, it's getting a bit too long, babbling on a bit too much. I'm just being a weird person right now. But anyway, without further ado, let's get into it. So, last part. Well, the class of 1A had finally seen, as well as the villains that attacked, well, the USJ had finally seen what happens when Killua snaps and gets a bit angry. Because he decided that enough was enough. You hurt, well, not only do you try to hurt his classmates, his teacher, but you dare strike him with your dirty hands, and you shall be nothing but a pile of ashes and a corpse so unrecognizable that they won't be able to identify you. As he basically went ballistic and murked the Nomu. And to blast his team after some training, he decided to go out where he bumped into a young Shota Todoroki, who was, going out buying clothes. However, Killer was bored, so he decided to tag along. As while he did so, they kind of had their own little mini date kind of thing. Neither of them saw it as one, however, they both enjoyed each other's company. Realizing that, down past their shells and how they keep up their attitudes during class, they come to see what each other's truly like. How, well, Todoroki can be quite feminine, well, even when she's often a bit ditzy. And Shota often saw how carefree and calm, as well as caring, Killua can be. She caught her off guard, but now let's get right into the start of this new episode. So after the recent events, Aizawa had given out a text to everybody saying, the next 2 weeks of class have been cancelled due to the attack, as we didn't want a media backlash bullshit. Written exactly on on the newsletter, well, the little news feed they got given. And everybody was quite surprised, but there was, at the bottom of the email it read, do some training. Because 2 weeks doesn't mean you get 2 weeks to slack off. Well, during this time, Killer would do a lot of intensive training. As that's when he did meet Todoroki. As they spent that one day, going around doing some shopping. For the rest of the time, he was doing a lot more intensive training. As somebody from his family had come over to watch his training personally, as they wanted to see how he's improved over the years. It was, well, his grandfather. He goes by the name Zeno. However, his real name he goes by Zenjin Kamihara, the father of Edgeshot, and, well, the current head, well, in the title, the current head of the Kamihara clan, which I'll say in the story is basically like the Zoldyck family. But since Shinya Edgeshot was thrown out of the family for becoming a pro hero, he was abdicated from the title of the clan head. As well, Zenjin was well, quite a cold and calculating man. However, the only time his facade really breaks is when he's around his grandson. As for someone who's so wise and well, has an aura of somebody who's seen 1,000 battles and taken countless lives, he seems to turn into just a regular old grandpa when he goes around his grandson. As he stood right in front of Killua with shooting a death glare at him that that would even make the most hardened criminals and the most justified heroes shiver down their spine. As Killua stared back right into his eyes and says, "Killua, how have you been, my grandson?" As he starts hugging him, basically nuzzling him a bit, and it's like, "Grandpa, get off! I'm sorry, but I haven't seen you in so long. Uh, how have you been?" It's like, ah, I'm fine, Grandpa. Ugh. You know you go way over the top with that, right? Oh, come on, give this old man some slack. Old man, my ass, we kick Dad's and mine very easily. I know that. Oh, but well, I can't argue with that there. However, age does mean something at least. Come on, haven't you heard of show some respect to your elders? It's like, yeah, but that only applies when they're not like you. God, to think that you're one of the most dangerous men alive. Oh, that brings me back to my good old days. Yeah, from what I heard from Dad, you, well, you were kinda known as the Dragon of Death. Oh, 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 that's a bit too much excitement for this old man. As, well, Inko actually walked past and says, "Hello, father," and says, "Ah, Inko, I see you've been doing well." Said yes. And how's the Kamihara clan doing? Not too much disturbance from my husband, I hope. No, he's been doing his part. It's good to see that you're doing well, dear. Why, thank you. Well, I did suppose you always liked me, didn't you? Yeah, well, you were a lot less rowdy than, my good-for-nothing son. Uh, this, well, he's a bit of a handful. Well, handful. Mm, that I can agree. As Killua says, anyway, Grandpa, what's with your visit? As he says, "Oh, can't I just visit to see you?" No, no, you cannot. I know what you're like. Anyway, why are you here? Mm, fine, but take the fun out of everything. Hmm. Well, I'm here to train you. Train me? Well, from what I've heard from all your instructors and all the people that have been supplied by the family, and even from your father himself, took a lot of balls to come ask me, but he said that I should train you since the time is right. Says, wow, I think father would do that. For as good for nothing as he is, He at least has some sense of pride in him. And he knows that better than anybody else that you should be raised to have the best amount of talent. After all, you are the child of prophecy. He snapped my little grandson. It's like, Grandpa, no, 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 no. As he jumps back and it's like, wait, where did he go? It's like, you cannot escape from me. As, well, Zen, well, let's just say, Zenjin had a very good knack for using essentially a body flicker technique. Being able to disappear and appear behind people very easily. As, well, it seems that Killua's grandpa tackled him from behind and says, "You're too slow, my boy. I have to work on that." It says, "Oh no." It says, "I won't take it easy on you just because, well, you're my grandson. After all, you got a name to live up to." It says, "Yes, alright." So, for the next, I'd say about a week, he trains with Zeno. That's just what I'm going to call him, as it's much easier to abbreviate that way. He trains with Zeno quite intensely, as now he's been worn out for quite a lot actually. As despite that man's age, he is certainly no slouch. He could, well, being one of the strongest and most dangerous men in the world, certainly comes with a certain skill set behind it. As Killua learned a lot more techniques that he originally didn't know that only belonged to the Kamehameha name, as well as becoming a lot stronger and faster, on top of his already insane speed. Couple that with all the techniques that were very much beaten into Killua. It was not a stretch to say that he would have become well a, as just as strong as his father just by training at even like a remote level of what Zeno could. So after taking this training, he was, let's just say, upgraded to the next level. As well, he returns to school with a few bruises as well as bandages, very similar to the ones on the thumbnail. As he comes walking in as Kaminari is actually just laughing. People coming in saying, "What happened? Did you get into a fight or something?" As well, Kaminari was still laughing. It's like, shut it! Uh, as well, Ida was going, Kaminari, that is rude. Why are you laughing at somebody because they got injured? Do you not know how serious that can be? I'm only laughing because it's Killua. Oh, to think that somebody actually managed to put a scratch on him. Oh, it's so funny. And so, well, Killua did not like when he being mocked, so he firmly and swiftly punched Kaminari in the head and says, "Ow! Ah, what was that for?" "You know why, and I'm not going to say." As his fist was pretty much steaming from how hard he hit Kaminari. "Come on, man, take a joke. Your whole life is going to be a joke when I'm done with you." Says, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, whoa." As he starts running away and says, "You're not getting away that easily." Well, as Zawa basically just glares him down and his bandages start rising as Killer really didn't care, but how Kaminari stopped in his tracks and says, "Alright." Now, and now that you're all settled, let me tell you one thing. We've got the UA Sports Festival coming up in the next week. So, I'd like to tell you what that all entails. You're going to show the world where you belong and how you're gonna take what you deserve. You're becoming bright heroes, gonna be leading the generation. So you must lead by example. You are to show the world what you are made of. Show them that you are meant to be here, and boldly declare that I am here. Just like our very own symbol of peace, you must show the world that you're a shining symbol of hope that everybody can depend on. So, whatever you do, give it your all. As the saying goes, go beyond plus ultra. Everybody was getting fired up as Killua was actually distracted now, and he wasn't hunting Kaminari down. As well, he was messing around a bit, as they were just doing some the class was doing some light sparring for warm-up activities. Out, well, outside, as he get approached by Shota, so, as well, she had come up and said to him in the middle of practice, some people actually started looking over. Some of the guys, but some of the girls as well. As not only is Todoroki hot to the guys, but Killua is hot to the girls. So there's a bit of an equal amount of interest going into that conversation. As I said, can I talk to you for a second? Says, yeah, sure. As he blocked Kaminari's attack as he tried to kick him, and then punched him as he started tumbling away. It says, yeah, I'm free now. Why? It says, well, my sister said I should invite you over to say thank you for the clothes. Your sister said it? No. Okay. Well, alright, no. I was trying to figure out how I should say this, but would you like to come over to dinner at my house? As you said, oh, so that's what you're asking? Sure. What time? Well, the day before the sports festival. Well, my sister said it's only polite after, well, she looked at the receipt and saw how much those clothes were, and, well, she really wanted to meet you, as I told her and my brother that you were the son of Headshot, so they kind of wanted to meet you. And, well, say their gratitude as well, but also my father wanted to see you. And Dever wanted to see me. Yeah, well, he was when I told him, well, no, when I told him, I wouldn't tell that piece of shit anything, but I guess when he heard from one of his friends that saw us walking around, he kind of started asking questions, and I said, don't bug me, old man. Ask him yourself. As well, he just glared me down and said, then invite me here. So I kind of got no other choice, but either you say no and that's the end of it, or you come over and he stops bugging me. I mean, I'm free that night. Not like I really do much anyway. I need to study as well. Ugh, don't like that anyway. And training, I already get the shit beaten out of me every day. So, I'll be good during the night. Says, alright, I'll give my address, I'll message you my address. As she grabs his number, and well, they swap contact details so they can confirm it. As well, straight away the girls started flooding over to, well, some of the girls started flooding over to Todoroki asking, what was I talking about? And the exact same for the guys, and says, oh, um, Todoroki just says, I invited him to dinner. As a lot of the girls go, what? And, and says, you can't be serious. As she's just, well, Todoroki's just going, what, it's just food. What's the big problem? You invited him to your house for dinner. Yeah. So bold. He says, well, it wasn't me that invited him. My family wanted to meet him, so... Wait, your family wanted to meet him? Wait, are you two dating? As it's basically the same questions on the guy's end, except replace, well, what did she say, with well, with she just invited me over to her house for dinner, and basically the same explanation as, well, some people asked us like if they were dating us. They both said no, adamantly, but not with a hint, like not like a straight no, but just like no. It's I don't want to know how to explain this. So they had well, they will continue to be in question. Says, look, all I can say is she invited me over. Well, it's her dad that really wants to meet me, and her sister wants to thank me because I helped her out yesterday. Well, I mean, during the break. Yeah, is that satisfied curious minds? As Kaminari, who was laying on the ground, just groaning, was back up and poking up and listening to it, and says, "Man, you're lucky you don't even have to try." Says, "Like I was even trying in the first place because I don't really care. Man, you have girls falling for you everywhere. Yeah, you don't seem to care. You just play it cool." Says, "Well, they're attracted to my looks, not my personality. They don't actually know the real me. Dude, like, nobody knows the real you. I don't even know much about your whole family. All I know is that well, that your mother's a housewife and that your dad's a pro hero. That's all I know. You don't really tell me much else. Well, there's not really much else to tell. As, well, people started, well, obviously there was going to be rumors spread around, but they didn't care. As training kept continuing as, well, it eventually came around Talent Sports Festival. But the night before, Deku had showed up, well, not Deku, Killua had showed up, to, well, the Todoroki residence. As he knocked on the door, and as he was welcomed in by Fuyumi, who's actually kind of skittish and waiting around the door area. As she's like, "Welcome." As she locked eyes with him. Basically, her mind went blank for a second. Says, "Uh, hello, uh, hello." Says, "Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, where are manners? Come in. My name's Fuyumi. You're Killua, right?" "Yeah, that's my name." "Oh, yeah, I'm Todoroki's older, well, sorry, I'm Shota's older sister. Uh, Fuyumi Todoroki." As she starts guiding him in, as well, Todoroki was just sitting, well, Shota was sitting down, around the table just watching some TV with some tea, as, well, Natsume came walking down the stairs and was like, "Hey, when's he getting here?" As he looked down and says, as he comes and says, "Whoa, yeah." As he started like just looking him up and down and scoping him out, and says, "Is there something wrong?" Says, "Ah, you lucky bastard." It's like, wait, what? What? Nothing. Just jealousy, that's all. Okay. As well, um, she says, "Hey, Natsui, Natsui, can you look over the stove for a second? Make sure it doesn't boil over. I just need to talk to Ricky for a second." She says, all right, but don't blame me. Don't blame me if anything happens. You just need to watch over and make sure it doesn't boil. Yeah, yeah. As she just squats down, well, right next to Shota, and whispers into her ear, and it's like, "You never told me it'd be this fucking hot." And says, didn't I? Uh, as she looks over the blank, nonchalant stare and just says, "Well, I guess he is kind of attractive." You guess? Oh, why are you such a social introvert? Oh, a little warning would be helpful. I look like an idiot because I was staring at him. As just because she might be older doesn't mean he's immune to the good old Killua charms. And I mean, if you look like that, the guy in the front, if you look like Killua in the thumbnails, what kind of girl wouldn't be gushing over you? Anyway, so she returned back and says, "Thanks, Natsue." As well, the front door opened as well. Killua was sitting down across from Todoroki, as Natsue was sitting at the front of the well, at the one end of the table. As well, they were just talking as well as Fumi says, "Ah, welcome home." As it was, well, Endeavor just came back as and says, "Oh, Fumi." As he looked around and saw, "Oh, but it's no ghost." As Killua got up and went up to Endeavor and offered out his hand. "Yo, what's up, Endeavor?" Uh, oh yeah, the name's well Killua Midoriya. And I just want to clarify something for the series. So he goes by different aliases. Killer Midoriya is his well what he uses for legal documentation. So passports, identity, and anything to do that outside of his family businesses. Well, outside of his family is under the alias Killer Midoriya, as he bought the name from as well they bought the name and the rights to it, because so they have connections. And his actual name, his birth name is uh, Killua um, Kamiha. But when he goes for little assignments or missions given by his family, he goes by Killua Zoldyck. So there's just different aliases. It's a bit confusing, but whenever I say his name's different, that's you can assume that's why, or infer. Anyway, he introduces himself as Killua Midoriya and says, "So you're Kamihara's son, I see." "Ah, yes, I assume you know my father." It says, "Yes, he's a hard-working man, just below my rank, in fact." "Yes, well, you're quite hard-working yourself. You got quite a presence there." And it says, "Hmm." As he walks off into his room to go get changed, obviously, because he's not going to sit there and eat in his hero attire. As he gets changed, as they start talking, as Deva sits at the head of the table. And as Killua just asks, "Not that I don't don't mind being invited here for dinner, of course, but why did you? Well, I know why. Half the reason why I was invited here, because well, the very lovely Fuyumi over there was just uh, offering a thank you. But why did you invite me here, Endeavor? Mm, well, I wanted to. How should I put this bluntly? I wanted to assess you if to see if you if you would be a good candidate for an arranged marriage with Shota here. As he kind of chokes on the tea he was sipping at, it's like, oh, ah, oh, yeah, ah, a what? An arranged quirk marriage. Says, uh, okay. But one thing I asked, before, before you continue explaining, have you talked to my father all about this? Mm, not yet, but I assume that, well, I assume if I ask him, and if I get both, well, Shota's and your consent, it should be fine. Says, well, you see, Endeavor, um, uh, you might have to go through my father about this first, because even if I say yes or no, it's up to my family whether or not that happens. I understand that you might. I should be able to. After all, you two are quite powerful. You seem to have your father's knack of skill and prowess, from what I've heard, but also your powerful quirk well, allows you to excel those physical feats even higher. And if I could somehow get Shota here to birth an heir that's able to wield power over fire, ice, and lightning, be the greatest hero ever born. Look, I can understand the marriage, but all for a powerful, grandson? Shouldn't she, well, shouldn't she be more focusing on trying to raise Shota to the best she can be? Yes, that is an important factor too, but this will also be to great benefit to both the families. Would it not? It says, well, let me just explain one thing about my family. It is very old and very deeply rooted in tradition. However, not your typical um, name the firstborn heir kind of traditional. No, my family works a bit differently. I'm sure you'll find out more when you discuss my father. However, they're particular. They're very similar to, well, your marriage with your late wife. However, they have a bit more of a different choosing standard. My mother and father were in fact an arranged marriage as well. But you need to pass certain qualifications to be able to be wed. Oh. And what are those qualifications exactly? Either have a quirk that the family desires, which for my mother was the case, as she had a complete immunity to electricity. So she could absorb it and it wouldn't, she would act like a perfect insulator to electricity. She'd be able to absorb it and it wouldn't go anywhere. And seeing as my father had, the folder body quirk, they both mixed together to give me to give me an impervious electrical, well, electrical generating body as well. So I got the best of both worlds. I got a durable body that's built to withstand powerful electrical currents. Well, completely. But also be able to generate my own and store. So that was a desired outcome. But there was one thing in our family that wasn't linked to quirks. Alright? Please, do go on. And says, alright then. There was a legend passed down our lineage. The men are often born with, it's a mainly male-based family, as all the people produced are, all male. However, there was two unique traits. There was, men that were born with black hair or white hair. As you know, my father has, a white hair. But doesn't he have grey hair? No, he dyes it. He has white hair by nature. However, he adds a black charcoal to keep the color, well, to be from so unique. However, there is also another thing. There was a legend passed down that the male heir that is born with white hair and blue eyes would be the greatest, out of all of them, out of all the Kamihara clan's history. As Endeavor takes one look at him and thinks to himself, white hair, blue eyes, as he looks directly at Killua, as he fit that description exactly. So, you are that, well, legendary child. Yes. Yes, I am. And I will not lie, that comes with a heavy burden. But that's not the only thing. To say that I were to give up my potential, or have to, spare my training and, my potential's ruined because of it. That is a possibility of a risk that my family would not like to take. So, I'll tell you this, Endeavor. Whether I agree to it or not, it is my family's decision after all, because, let's just say, once there was a member that tried to turn their back on the family. However, their grip was always there lingering in the background. And eventually they had to return. So no matter how hard I try and I wish to not have not have these traditions shackle my free spirit. In one way or another, it would always be so. As so you're saying if I can get permission from your father / your clan family, or whatever you call it, you'd be fine going through with the arranged marriage. It says, yeah, so I'd have no problems with it, of course. I mean, myself, I find she to be attractive. My personal taste, she does fit the mark, and she can be fun to hang around. And I'm not oblivious to no one's, even with how much of a lack of personality when it comes to expressing those kinds of emotions, I can tell that's the case with Shota too. Am I right? Well, when it comes to physical attraction, you ah, it's the same in my case. As Endeavor basically has a big smile across his face. And says, well, I'll make the arrangements so. As it says, before you do that, it says, what is it now? Well, it says, before you do that endeavor, let's have dinner first. As Fuyumi had just finished up, as now put the meal on the table ready to be served. It says, ah, yes, you're right. As there's he well, they all start eating. As this is where I'm going to leave off this part because I feel like even though I said that the sports festival is going to be coming up, I'll leave that for next part because sports festival honestly with Killua is just going to be a speed blitz, as well as a few things are going to happen. I will let you know. I will let people know that I am going to be starting a new Hunter x Hunter series soon, because one of these what ifs is going to be wrapped up real quick. Um, yeah, so keep an eye out for that. It should be dropping within the next week or so. So keep an eye out for that. But after all, I just want to say, um, yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Let me know if you got it down to the part. I don't know, like and subscribe, whatever you want to do. But yeah, I hope everybody had a good day. Everybody has a good weekend. I've been the King of Underworld, and I'll see you all later. Peace.